Welcome to 2 p.m. Live with the Trigger. Yes, it's Wednesday, back once again. A little bit late due to some technical difficulties, but we're still here. Thanks for being patient. Thanks for jumping on in with us here today. We stream live every day, Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time to help you shine on camera, shine on stage, help you elevate you and your brand authority in many different ways. And because it is Wednesday, coming up tonight, we will be having How to Rock the Stage. And we will be talking about authorship tonight and authorship on helping to raise you as the brand expert. We talk about it all the time, but tonight specifically about authorship, about how to do that right from the beginning of your author career. You wrote your first book, maybe you're working on that first book. Tonight, we are going to get into a great conversation. Don't want to miss it. It's 7 o'clock Eastern Time for How to Rock the Stage. But here today at 2 p.m. Live, we are going to get into a brand new study is out. It's growing influence and the growing influence of podcasting specifically. The podcasting world is exploding. It is growing and growing, and the influence through podcasts is undeniable now. It is actually having an influence in radio, television, marketing, entertainment, you name it, it's doing it now. And there's a brand new study out by Pew, P-E-W. And I'm going to break down some of the elements that make this up. What are the things that are working in this area of podcasting? And I had a conversation earlier today because of the writer's strike, the director's strike, the actor's strike, all the things that are going on. We now have access to media every day. It's original, it's uncensored, and it's around the world 24/7 podcasting. With all these strikes going on, is podcasting going to continue to see even a greater bump because it is original content from original producers and writers, and they don't need other areas to help them do this. So I'm going to share a screen a little bit, and we're going to bring in some of the content that they are actually talking about here in the area of podcasting. And the first one I want to bring up here is that what Americans are doing with podcasting. All right. What they are doing with podcasting. Now, this is kind of interesting because the vast majority, the reason they do it is for entertainment purposes. They want entertainment out of podcasting. Now, the second area is they want to learn, they want to educate. Look at that. 88% of the people are wanting to learn something. The major reason, 60%, is for entertainment. The next one is to learn at 55%. Then to learn something while they're doing something. You're multitasking, you're jogging, you're walking, you're exercising. 52% of the people say that's why I listen to podcasts. And it goes on and on and on. So it's very interesting what is being done in this area. But now there is even more to look at with this. Look at this. About a third of the podcasters listens have tried lifestyle changes. They aren't just listening to content. They aren't just wanting to learn something. They are literally making lifestyle changes. They've watched a movie. They've read a book. They've listened to music. They've done something because a podcast interviewed somebody, talked to somebody, talked about the book, highlighted the book, did something. 60% of all people intentionally did something based off of that. And reading and entertainment was number one. They followed social media account. They listened to another podcast. You listen to one podcast, you maybe want to listen to another podcast. That's often what happens. You get hooked on one and you go jump on to another one. Or maybe you've made a lifestyle change, a major lifestyle change. Maybe you've done a new workout. Maybe you've gone to a new diet. Maybe you've gone to journalism. Maybe you started your own podcast. So look at that. You can see the podcasts are creating action, not just listenership. This is big. If you have a business, if you're trying to engage people, know that people really do listen to podcasts and they really do respond to the podcast. Now, many podcast listeners have recommended podcasts to both a family, a friend, coworkers, but this is staggering. 67% of current active podcast listeners have recommended a podcast to somebody else. We're talking about our favorite TV shows usually. We're talking about our favorite football game or basketball game. Now people are talking to each other. What podcast do you listen to? What's the current trend? Who do you like out there that's posting, that's sharing? 67% are recommending another podcast. And look at this, 60% have listened to a podcast recommended by a friend or family. Not only people are talking about podcasts, they're not only recommending them, people are actually trying it based off of the recommendation. Think of what a great podcast can do for your company. If people are listening, watching, it will be recommended to other people if it's of quality and value to the first level listener. You should learn the leverage podcast. And finally, in this survey, very interesting here, a third of the podcast listeners, at least one of the same, okay, a third of podcast listeners listen to at least one of the same podcasts as a family friend does. Why? They want to discuss it. It's not just about listening anymore. It says 30% listen to any of the same podcasts as family and friends. 30%, 36% actually, 36% say, I've listened, I liked it, you listened, you liked it, let's talk about it. Remember book clubs? We used to do with the book clubs all the time. We used to get together, read books, and talk about the chapters, the characters. We're actually doing that now with podcasts. People are actually engaging together based on podcasts. And it's happening extremely often. 24% said it's happening extremely often that they are doing this. 44% said sometimes we're having these type of conversations. Think about what you're hearing here. Think about the engagement factor of podcasts. Think about how podcasts are now becoming commonplace in everything we do. It's really a part of human nature now. It's really become something that we are investing in. Our time, our energy, our resources, we are pouring into podcast content in a whole new way. Now, let me come back on full screen. This means something for us. This means a lot for us, is that when you're crafting your podcast, think of not just the one listener you want to connect to. Think of what the tree, what's going to happen off of that one listener, and it grows and grows and grows and grows. Think of the engagement tools you use as you do a podcast. What are those engagement tools to get more engagement? Share a PDF, share something that drives the conversation, give an offer to them, open up a course where these people that are already talking about your shows can come join you and engage with you because they're already talking about you. Now, this is just the beginning of this Pew survey. It goes very deep into other areas of how podcasting is growing in such a way. People want to engage. They want to get help. They want to have things told to them, shared with them in a fun, entertaining way. That's part of the key too. They're looking for entertainment. The more entertainment, the more fun. Look, I just shared visuals. That's one of the ways of providing entertainment. Storytelling is one way to do it. Have guests on, interview, do product demonstrations. There's so many different ways you can bring entertainment into your podcast. And more podcasts are audio video because we record them on video, pull the audio off, and it's the exact same show. So some of these numbers, some of the numbers will overlap from video content to audio podcasting. And normally I'm talking about podcasting being only audio when I mostly describe it. The lines are getting blurred. We're now talking media streaming content, not just podcasting. What do you want to do with your podcast? What do you want to do with the tools you have, the leverage media now? The studies show people are consuming multiple times. That means they're probably listening to a different show, another show. Are you doing podcasts once a week? Why not do it twice a week? Because more and more people are listening at least twice a week. Above 50% are listening at least twice a week. Find a way to engage the audience again, get them to participate with you, and again, leverage for your brand. They're so engaged. They're so involved with podcasts now. Your brand message needs to be a vital part of that. How do you help people? What do you do? How can they connect with you? And continue to grow that brand message through your podcast. Think about this. It's a growing influence. Your podcast is an influence tool that you should leverage to the fullest. I know many of us are doing this for hobbies, but now begin to think about what it can do for you. I know many of us are trying those YouTube platforms and other streaming platforms, TikTok, Instagram. They're all having their version of podcast streaming content. But be intentional with this. There is more power than ever before. And as I talked with earlier today, another individual was mentioning all the Hollywood strikes going on. It's all going to be reruns for a very long time. The fall schedule is not going to come. Movies are going to be impacted. Television is already impacted. Where are they going to get original content? Your podcast. This is the time to leverage it more than ever before. If you want to get into podcasting, here's the time to launch a show. Learn how to do it well. And as always, if you want to learn more about that, write me a note. Drop me a line, rich@bontrager.net. I would love to talk to you about helping you raise your media brand better and better. Podcasting is one of the best ways to launch off into media. And before I forget, if you want to read this full report, the Pew report that gets into this, hit the QR code. The QR code will give you the full report on what I am sharing. And it's absolutely amazing. I've already seen someone's scanned it. Boom. 2 people have scanned it already right away. Boom. This is good information. Dig into the facts. Don't just gloss. It's pages, multiple pages of a deep dive report. And I do apologize. The chat is being troublesome here today. I do see a chat coming on in. Oh, that's me sharing that out there. But the chat is being a little bit cumbersome with the new update. They recently did the restream. I do apologize for that. And also technical difficulties on the internet. So please, please, please be patient with some of the hiccups as we stream out here today. This will be on replay. I will put this back on replay so you can make sure you catch it. And always our shows are always on YouTube and all these different streaming platforms, as well as Rock the Stage Media. By the way, if you want to learn more about Rock the Stage Media, the various shows we do, the coaching, the content, the creation, just go to rockthestagemedia.com. That's rockthestagemedia.com. I'm going to have more in this Pew report coming on up because I've only scratched the first 3 pages of this report in a major overview. If you're in the podcasting, let me know. Let me know what you want to learn more about. What are the questions you have about podcasting? This report goes deep, 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 and we're going to do a little bit more, deeper dive into the Pew report and how podcasting is actually growing brands, enlarging your reach, expanding opportunities. And my goal here is help you shine on camera, shine on stage, elevate that brand authority. One of the best ways is to learn the power of podcasting and leverage it for your own brand. Drop me a line. I love to continue the conversation. Until tomorrow, when hopefully everything is running perfect in the universe and there aren't any internet interruptions and restreams working well with all the new adjustments. Hope to see you there. And of course, tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern time with How the Rock's the Stage. Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow.